Hey everyone, it's Rabbi Shmuel Pollan. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back. And I just wrote an article about the Parsha, which is the portion of the Torah called Emor, which means say, and it contains the famous phrase, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And Jesus is known to have said that he rejects the idea of eye for an eye, and he instead wants to impose the idea of turn the other cheek. And Elon Musk recently has said that he thinks that's smarter. It's smarter to say turn the other cheek rather than to say eye for an eye, because if you take an eye for an eye, everyone winds up blind. Well, we're going to show now how that's just based on ignorance of what the verse is actually talking about and the history of the verse. We must understand that the verse is not saying to poke out someone's eye because he poked someone else's eye out. God forbid. Every school child knows that it's only talking about monetary compensation. If you poke out someone's eye, you have to pay him the value of an eye, and that, in a sense, makes the person whole again. It makes it a little bit more fair, but we do not impose like a capital punishment, because of a capital punishment. We do not do such a thing, and never in the history of the Jewish court system was such a thing done. It's always about monetary compensation. The question is, why doesn't the Torah just say that? Why does the Torah say eye for an eye instead of saying give the value of an eye for an eye? So there's a great rabbi named Rav Kook, and he gives an explanation based on the Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism, and he explains the difference between the written Torah and the oral Torah. The written Torah gives you the black and white law. The oral Torah is going to explain how to implement the law. So from kosher to shofar to lulav and esrog, and how to keep Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah and Hanukkah, none of it is possible without the oral tradition. God gave an oral tradition to Moses, which is handed down to the men of the Great Assembly and all the way until today. So the written Torah is compared to a father, and the oral Torah is compared to a mother. So a father may want to strike his son, and just as he's about to do it, the mother stops him because she has mercy. She wants him to have mercy on the child. What happens is something beautiful. The child is changed because he knows he was about to get hit. In the end, though, he never actually gets hit, so he's changed without actually getting hit. No harm is done. So this is actually the perfect situation, whereas turn the other cheek, as we'll see, is absolutely insane. But this is the perfect situation. It's a perfect blend of justice and mercy. So we have the written Torah saying you deserve for your eye to be taken out, but the oral Torah comes and says that's not actually going to happen because we have mercy on you. But the fact that you know that your eye really should have been poked out makes it worth saying in the written Torah. So Judaism is actually perfect and beautiful. It wants you to know how serious it is to hurt someone, and that at the same time, in practice, we should have mercy. It's a beautiful blend. It's shocking to see the words eye for an eye in the Torah, and it's supposed to be shocking. If it wasn't said in the written Torah, we would never know how serious it is to hurt someone. This serious warning, along with the fine, will ensure that this person never does it again. And that's the important part, that he never does it again. Turning the other cheek, however, encourages him to do it again. If you turn the other cheek after him hitting you, he's going to hit you again. And that's two sins instead of one. And what's worse is he could keep continuously hitting you, and then he may start to hit someone else because he got away with it. So the solution is not to turn the other cheek. That just causes more sin and more danger to society. Eventually, if everyone's hitting each other continuously, there will be a breakdown in society. So it's exactly the opposite of what he thought. You're accusing Judaism of making everyone become blind. Well, I'm going to accuse Christianity of causing someone who is hitting a bully, who's hitting someone, to continue hitting someone, causing sin after sin after sin, and hurt after hurt after hurt, and then being cruel to the next person that he's going to hit. So if you are kind to the cruel, you're being cruel to the kind. You have to protect, number two, you have to protect the next person that could get hit. Therefore, the bully must be stopped. You do not turn the other cheek. The bully must be stopped. There must be a stern warning, and there must be a fine to make sure he does not do it again. And that is kindness. That is being kind to the next person who could get hit. So the bottom line is, in order for there to be kindness, there has to be justice. And you must pay for what you do, or you'll do it again. May the Messiah come, restore sanity, reestablish justice, and then we will reunite in love. God bless.